Have you woken up one morning and had unexpected grief? You're an empty nester, whether you're in a partnership, a marriage with somebody, a single empty nester, you have a job. If you're super blessed, you planned well, or circumstances didn't prohibit you from getting the house paid off. Your kids are raised, they're happy, healthy. Maybe they're wayward, maybe they're prodigals. But you wake up with unexpected grief. As you're walking around your house, the discomfort of the grief becomes overwhelming, and you feel some anger coming up. Your life was good. You raised your kids. You had a purpose. And now there's sadness. The sadness turns into anger, and then the anger turns into blaming. And you realize you haven't heard from your kids in a week, 2 weeks, a month. Maybe they live away from you. Maybe they're just busy with their own lives. But all of a sudden, you're blaming them for not reaching out to you so you can feel okay. That's what happens when we have unexpected grief, displaced anger, and wrongful blaming of our adult children. My name's Dawn. I'm the Recovery Lady. I'm a licensed behavioral health clinician doing a series on empty nesting. And if you relate to any of that, if you're in that empty nest phase, this is a common occurrence. I have experienced and talked to countless people who, look, maybe everything's not perfect in your life. And if you're living on this earth, it probably isn't. But your immediate things, you have food, you have shelter, you have transportation, you have a job. You're able to make your basic needs be met. But you're not happy inside now that you're an empty nester at the time when there should be all this room for you in your life. You're feeling angst. And the discomfort of that grief and that angst is so intense. Instead of allowing yourself to go through it, instead of letting yourself to really identify those feelings, instead of digging in, journaling, going to counseling, going to a recovery group, looking at what's happening, it's so uncomfortable that it manifests to anger. And now the anger is going on your kids. Man, if you would call me, I wouldn't be like this. If you were around, if you would appreciate me for what I did for you, I'm going to tell you something right now. When our kids are born, they don't come out of the uterus with, I don't care if you birthed them, adopted them, and acquired them somewhere along life. There's no contract when your children become your children, whatever legal way they have, that they're signing a contract. Now, when you get out of this house, you better appreciate me, you better love me, better take care of me in my old age. Now that is appropriate in a lot of cultures and actually benevolent. But there's no contract that they owe you the $100,000 that's spent to raise them or whatever it is, or they have to pay you back. Think back to how you got your children or grandchildren or whoever you raised. You wanted them. And even if it was unexpected pregnancy, unexpected adoption, unexpected fostering, you didn't do it. Hopefully you weren't doing it thinking, wow, I'm going to do this here and they're going to pay later for what I'm doing here by choice. Doesn't that sound insane? Our thinking and processing and our desire to avoid the discomfort we feel inside with our own lives can be so acute and so uncomfortable that we rationalize it in our minds. And remember, if you've watched my videos for any length of time, when we rationalize, we're telling ourselves rational lies. Rational lies. It's the best way we lie to ourselves. Well, it could be this, but actually, I gave up a lot of my life raising those kids. I gave them, I deprived myself of things so they could have stuff. So technically, if you think of it, they owe me. It's a form of manipulation. And the thing is, we do it to ourselves to justify are inappropriate and wrong behavior. That's a lot. I want you to take a breath and think of it. Generally, that discomfort we're feeling internally is about us. We're frustrated because we're not needed anymore. We're frustrated because we have controlled the lives of our kids, maybe to the point of helicopter parenting, where they moved away from us because it was like, wow, college, hello, Alaska, because I can't get far enough away from my folks or my grandparents or my aunts, uncles, whoever raised you, whoever raised them. They want to get away. Are you guilty of not processing your own discomfort, getting angry at your adult kids and wrongfully blaming them? And listen, if you've done things to help your kids as adults, and a lot of times they don't ask for help. I've talked about this a lot. It's like, oh, you just got your first place and you need a new comforter. Let me get that for you. Let me get that for you. Because you need to feel needed. They didn't ask for it, they didn't want it, and they may want to scrape their pennies together for the satisfaction of saying they did it themselves, but you're still trying to fix them, and take care of them in a way that they didn't ask for. And what you're doing, and you've heard me say this before, is saying, I don't trust that I've raised you well enough to take care of yourself. When again, it's a covert way of you feeling needed and you filling your void. And they don't want it. If you watch one of my OG videos from a year or so ago when I started this channel, I had a similar situation with a kitchen rug. My married child didn't want a kitchen rug, and their spouse wanted a kitchen rug. And I'm like, gee, their spouse does most of the stuff in the kitchen by choice. I want my new in-law child to have a kitchen rug. I'm taking you guys to the Home Goods or whatever it's called, and I'm getting a kitchen rug. They wanted one they picked out together, and I just go over there and march them over there. It was insane. I tell you this story hearing the insanity of what I did. These are adults who decided to get married and who are taking care of themselves. And if you are doing things for them as adults that they didn't ask for, maybe didn't want, and just politely accepted, are you now holding that against them? Well, I got you that kitchen rug, I got you your comforter, I loaned you this money, I did that. Look, if you're going to do that, it's so important you do it with no strings attached. The only way you can truly recover, and a lot of our underlying discomfort of becoming empty nesters, is the fact that when those kids are out of the house, at college, married, moved on, all the things we talk about, we have to look at ourselves. The distraction of looking and taking care of others, and maybe you try doing that with your spouse and they're just not having it anymore. So the problem is you. They're gone. You don't know what to do with your life. You're getting angry, you're getting depressed, you're feeling grief and blaming it on them. Look, if you're feeling not useful and lonely, that's understandable. You could be lonely in the house with your spouse. We've talked about this, and maybe not even like him anymore, and you have a chance to re-engage. But the solution, that's the problem. The solution to all these things with empty nesting is to sit in that discomfort, journal it. Go to a recovery group, get a therapist, join an empty nester support group. I'm actually going to be starting one pretty soon at my own church, because we're better together and stronger together, and we learn from each other's stories, especially when it's so raw. For me, it's very raw, and it helps to have a community to go through this with. It is so important. And even if you say, I don't even like my adult kids that much, and quite frankly, they're selfish, and I don't even want them in my life. Why are they selfish? Are they not meeting your need? Does that make them selfish? Again, flip it. It's about you. It's about us. It's about me. It's about the parent at home. They're off doing their lives. And if you're this is rough. This is harsh. We don't have a lot of time in this journey and on this earth, and we can sit, in these later life years being miserable, or we can move into solution. You're responsible for your change. You're responsible for owning your discomfort. It's not your kid's fault, but you can do it. I have been a licensed clinician for a while, and I've been in my own recovery, in a recovery program for probably 20 years and 40 years, and working on all the stuff from my past and my childhood that I carried into my adult life and relearning to do things. And you know, we're as strong as our story. You have the strength in you to get to the other side of this. And every time you speak it, it loses power. Every time you speak it, you get stronger. And it is scary to own your own stuff and say, I'm uncomfortable with my own life. Why am I blaming my kids? What is it that I'm dissatisfied with about myself? It's a lot. Sit in that this week. Explore it. I encourage you not to distract with drugs, alcohol, sex, gambling, anything you may be abusing, watching TV. I'm a competitive reality show junkie. I love it. And it's Big Brother season this time of year. And I can distract with Big Brother, but then I can't sleep and I feel the discomfort. Your body and your mind, the Holy Spirit tells you it's time to look at something. Don't ignore that. You deserve it. You are worthy of it. The Lord is with you. You're not alone. And yes, it's scary because it's unfamiliar and uncomfortable, but the victory at the other side is the best life you've ever imagined. I love you guys. My name's Dawn, D-A-W-N, the Recovery Lady, licensed behavioral health clinician. Woo, I've got a condition. Clinician. So grateful you're here with me. Please like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you next time. Mwah.